Hey, so I was playing around with Loom for the first time. Loom is one of these features that you can use to record your screen and your video. So I'm using Screencastify, which I paid for a while ago. It's not free. It was like $30 for the year. And I did that because I was working with a Chromebook and it was something that I could add onto Chrome and utilize. And so it's like this little arrow here. But you can also use Screencast-O-Matic if you have like a desktop or a laptop, and that is something that you can download for free. And I'll show you how to use that another time. But what's nice about that is you actually only have a window, and whatever's in that window is what's recorded. And then another similar feature, which I'm going to be showing you here today, is Loom, not to be confused with Zoom. So Loom is another one of these screen sharing recording devices. Now, over here, you can see that there is a Loom for Chrome. So if you're working on a Chromebook and you're using a Chrome browser, you can utilize that. There's also one that you can download to your computer. So, that might give you some more features. So Loom does have a free option. Right now they're giving teachers free access to their pro, but I'm not sure how long that's going to last. But again, this is very similar to Screencastify. A lot of what you can do in Loom, you can also do in Zoom when you're doing your class Zooms and you're doing screen shares. You can just record those. So when you choose Loom, it pops up this window and you record your screen and cam. So you see down here on the right this round one picture of me, and you can like change the size and make it much bigger. Woo, that's big. So that's coming up, and you can change that, or you could get rid of it and just hide it if you're like, I don't want to look at myself. And that would be your screen only. I just want to record my screen. I'm really uncomfortable with people maybe seeing my house or my hair. My roots are bad. It's up to you. You can also do camera only, and that would be your webcam. So depending on what you're doing this for would depend on which tool you're going to use. So if I was doing a lecture, so I have my PowerPoint on the Constitution up, if I was going to do my presentation and record it because I'm not in the classroom with my students, I would probably still have my picture at the bottom of the screen so that they can see me. It's a little bit more personalized, even though they can still hear you. And it's up to you. I definitely wouldn't just do a camera only if you're doing a lecture, because you really want those visuals for students who need the supports. So my recommendation is screen and cam or screen only. It's up to you. You can also do either your full desktop, and that's like they will see everything on your desktop. My recommendation is don't do what I did and make sure that your personal stuff is closed out. Make sure all the windows are closed that you don't need. You don't want any notifications or anything else popping up that's crazy. You can also just do current tab. Like I only want them to see the Constitution. I don't want them to see my email tab or anything else that might pop up. It's up to you. Now I can see here that the microphone is picking up my audio, and you can see it's moving, but I'm going to turn that off only because I'm already recording my voice and screen with Screencastify so that you can see the work I'm doing on Loom. And it's going to just start recording. Now it's going to give you a countdown. If all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I'm not ready, before the 3 count is done, you could click anywhere to pause that. So what's nice about this is you will have some features down here. Now, I have a menu underneath from Screencast-O-Matic as well. I'm going to hide those so it's not confusing. But you can see that there's some stuff here. So you can change the camera setting. You could cancel recording and stop it. You could pause it. So like, I have a 6-year-old. If all of a sudden she comes running in, I could just pause, deal with her, or the puppy or anything else, and then resume. That way I don't have to worry about having to redo my video. And once you hit pause, it says recordings pause, and then you just click again to resume. If you're done, you can just hit finish recording, and I'll show you what happens when we're done there. There's also, you can hide the menu, you can open the menu. Now this is the Chrome feature. If I was using the desktop feature, there's also a feature that will pop up here that allows me to write on the screen. But if you have a touch screen, you could use like your stylus pen and stuff to do that. It's up to you. I found the tool when I was using it was okay, but if I underlined something, it would disappear like a few seconds later. So if I was like marking up my screen, it's not like it would just stay there. It would be there for a little bit and then it would disappear. So if you want to annotate something or take notes and have students follow along, that might be a feature you want to check out elsewhere using a stylus or some of the other programs, and I'd be happy to help with that. So I'm going to go ahead and click finish recording so we can see what comes up. Again, this is only the second time I've done this. I actually don't really use it, and this is the first time I made it. My first Loom video. And so it will walk you through the editing suite. One of the things I try to do is limit how much I edit my videos, because editing is where you really can spend a lot of time. So pausing when there's an interruption and kind of figuring out what I'm going to say and do beforehand goes very far. Also, I would just say, like, be comfortable with your videos not being perfect. You're not trying to be a YouTube star. You're not trying to make a bunch of money. What you're trying to do is help your students access your materials. So normally I'll explore my own, because that's just how I like to learn when I'm using these tools. But I'm going to say, let's go and let them walk us through and see what happens. So this says edit your title. So because I was only sharing that one PowerPoint, it picked up the title of that document. I can change that. So it says edit your title. So I'm going to edit and be like, Loom first run through. So I can figure out how that goes. And then it says next tip, send your video. So send your video to one or to many. Just copy and paste your video link anywhere. So here's the link. So you can copy this link and then share that in Google Classroom as a link. It says privacy. Only people with the link can see your video. Or I can make it appear in a Google search. I don't want this in a Google search. So I'm going to leave it just you need the link. You could also add a password. So you could add a password. Oh, they don't match. There we go. No, not going to save. Don't save. Okay. And then that way, only my students are seeing it. I don't have to worry about if it goes out anywhere. It also, let's see, what else are they going to recommend? I don't want it showing up. Nope. Okay. So add a link to the page you recorded on. So you could also, in the video notes, have them linked to the document. So if I'm recording a PowerPoint, I usually link the PowerPoint with the video in Google Classroom, so students can look at the PowerPoint, they can listen to my lecture, they can pause, they can go back, they can do whatever they want. I'm just going to close that out. And then it looks like you could download it. You can share it to Facebook through Gmail. You can embed it. You can get that link. It's up to you. You could do a custom thumbnail. So like, say you're like, oh, my face looks really weird. You could upload like just an image if you wanted to. It's up to you. I would say play around with the features just to kind of see what you want. If you feel like the video is too long, or sometimes I've realized, hey, I like screwed up at the end or something, you could trim. And then that means that you could maybe like at the end, say you're like down here and you're going to start trimming, and you could maybe cut that little piece out at the end, and then you could click remove. Or maybe you're like, oh no, I totally screwed up. You can hit cancel, and then that will kind of go back. And I'm going to return to the video. Okay. Oh no. Okay. So that's Loom. Again, a lot of it is just kind of playing with it and see how things go.